Small businesses have dug out, turned on the heat, and turned on the open sign.
So get out and support them.
Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. This episode is brought to you by Wash. Sign up at pickupwashdeliver.com. Do the wash. Skip the hassle.
Episode 117, Between Two Bridges. And we talked about the impending weather. We talked about the impending coach. And I think we were pretty accurate on both.
Yeah, they're both here now.
Yeah, it was.
You were real accurate on the coach thing.
Unfortunately, and I'm not going to poo-poo it yet. I'm not. I think that anything, it's a big change. It's an offensive coach.
An offensive coach, not a big.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is he's saying all the right things, right? You don't want a new coach to come in and say, this team sucks and all our players are terrible. And that comes with like down the road shit. Like you'll watch how they draft. Now, if they draft like a tackle and an outside backer.
And we'll see. We've got a lot of picks.
My worry is that the 3-4 defense is here to stay. That's something that's kind of.
Has he picked any? Have they talked about coordinators?
They have multiple options. I mean, people in his past that they talk about, but they haven't really picked anybody. I don't see anything like major happening right away. Although it needs to, because that's like a moving bus. You need to get on that motherfucker.
Yeah, and I mean the combine's going to be here, the draft is going to be here, and we got to kind of shit or get off the bus, right? Or shit or get off the pot, right?
Yeah, and apparently, the people that people wanted, they actually interviewed bad. So they said Shula was a bad interview.
Did they?
And Shula doesn't have any head coaching position right now as of this filming. So maybe he's not ready yet, So I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. We could probably go back. I think we had episodes talking about Will Howard's draft pick. So I know that's the most popular thing to be in Pittsburgh is the backup quarterback to the Steelers. The least popular thing in Pittsburgh to be is the fucking mayor after a major storm because my man's getting shit and he's been on the job for like 13 days.
Yeah.
Like he was handed, Mike McCarthy said the cupboards are full. Well, Corey O'Connor's job in Pittsburgh, the cupboards are bare.
What'd they say, 37 trucks broke down?
Yeah, 37 or 38 out of 90 trucks. So I was thinking, if I had a company and my sole purpose was to remove snow, and obviously you're gaining accounts and you've gotten your fleet up to 90 trucks, and you got the UPMCs of the world, you got the PNC Banks of the world, and when this storm happens, you have 38 trucks break down, not only are you not profitable, you're losing customers. But it's okay for the city because it's the city.
The city, I mean, it's amazing how bad.
Yeah, I think when these meetings come again for budgets, I think a lot of times they were stealing from the budget because we've had very light winters. So they're like, we budgeted $250,000 for salt for our township and we only used $50,000 worth of salt. So we can take $200,000 from that and put it into, painting curbs. Well, unfortunately, we got that 10-year storm and
wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time.
15-year storm. I mean, we haven't seen snow like this in 15 years.
And the other thing is you figure in 15 years, there's a lot of turnover of employees. So companies have had guys that were like really good at plowing lots of snow. Well, these guys are gone. They've retired. So now you got a guy that's been running the Beltsuver loop for 10 years with 2-3 inches of snow. And now he walks into he's dealing with 10 inches and he's plowing it the same way as he's always plowed it. Next thing you know, you got fucking cars plowed in, you got intersections a mess.
Yeah, so, it's a wild time. My biggest concern, everybody's complaining because they're, my driveway's plowed in, my car's plowed in, that kind of shit comes. I mean, it's snow. I mean, We're snowed in. I mean, that comes with a snowstorm.
Right.
The roads are bad. If you can stay home, you stay home. My biggest concern in a storm like this is what's going to happen with businesses.
Yeah.
And, I reached out to some government officials. I posted a thing on Facebook. I don't know if it'll get anywhere. My concern is what this is going to have as far as an economic impact in our area. I think that there is a risk tolerance to businesses in Western Pennsylvania in this area for a snowstorm, right? It's obvious. I mean, we live in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
we have
day or
businesses
two
in Pittsburgh, right? We have to be willing to accept the risk of having a snowy day, right? But this is a 15-year weather event that is then followed up with possibly a week, 2 weeks, maybe longer of historic sub-zero temperatures. So not only are we buried in snow, the snow's not going anywhere. And now we're going to have probably pipes freezing up. We're going to have possibly roofs that are going to be caving in. We have businesses that are empty because customers aren't coming out. My fear is that you're going to have businesses that are possibly not going to be able to recover from this.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, look at my situation in Asmal. It's a new business. It's already slow, right?
Yeah.
So if you have a 10-year business and you have a good following and constant revenue coming in, and you're going to lose a third to a half because of this. But like when you have a new business that's trying to get established,
right,
and you lose a third, a third of nothing is a huge loss.
Yeah. And you look at, like, back in April, we had that big rain storm, microburst, whatever you want to call it, power outage. There was insurance coverage for a lot of the businesses that had the power outages that came through. And we had you have business disruption insurance to cover food spoilage and revenue loss and things like that. You don't have insurance coverage to cover snow days because you're still open. You have power, so you're not going to lose inventory because your coolers are still on. So you don't have insurance coverage for these days, but you still have no customers in the door.
Right.
You still have employees that are sitting there clocked in, not generating any revenue. So you don't have any coverage for this. The unfortunate part of it is there are programs to assist businesses in this, but they take effort from a lot of different places before they're available. And the reason why I reached out to people was because of all the effort that has to go into them. It's really hard for them to happen. So what a lot of people don't realize is back when COVID happened, there's a program that happened during that called the EIDL program, the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, that everybody thinks it was a COVID thing. It wasn't a COVID thing. The EIDL, that loan program was not a COVID loan. That loan was available for decades.
Right.
It was actually a weather event loan that was adapted for COVID. So that program was originally set up for situations like this, or for a flood, or for a hurricane, or a tornado, or something like that, where the way the program works is municipalities get on the ground and they start working with business owners, and they start to assess damages, and they start to take a tally of the cost and the economic impact of that event. And they take those damages along with the economic impact that municipality has. So if they have to have more of their guys on duty to clean up the damage and whatnot, they tally up their costs. They report that up to their county. Their county then reports that to PEMA, to the state. The state then takes that information, officially requests disaster relief from the SBA. The SBA would review it, and if it reaches a certain threshold, they would make these disaster loans available to small businesses. And that's when the EIDL programs become available to the businesses within that county and the adjacent counties around that event. So if the municipalities within Allegheny County, Westmoreland County, Beaver County, Butler County, all these counties around us here that are all experiencing this, if they all started that right now and started assessing this damage, if they're dealing with collapsed roofs and pipes that are bursting and flooding and businesses that are shut down and payroll costs and utilities and power outages and all the costs that are being incurred because they're buried in snow, they could potentially reach a threshold within the county that we could be looking at a level where an EIDL program could be reached.
Right.
But the problem is that this needs to be started now. Whenever you have, say you have a flood in one municipality, it's really hard to hit that threshold. Say you have to hit $1 million worth of damages. If that happens in one small town, it may be really hard to get that.
Right.
When you're dealing with a weather event like this that hit 3 counties.
Well, it hit the eastern seaboard.
Or hit the whole eastern seaboard, the whole state of Pennsylvania is being affected.
Right.
So the whole state of Pennsylvania is going to be able to hit that threshold. So now all of a sudden the SBA is going to be able to get that. But the problem is the SBA cannot make that loan available unless all these municipalities and all these counties take the action necessary. So you have to get all these government officials to do their steps in order to get the SBA to make the money available to these businesses. The businesses can be sitting here floundering and buried in snow and dying.
Right.
And nobody can do anything unless the government officials take their steps. And the problem is I fear that a lot of these government officials don't even realize that these programs are out there.
Right. Yeah, and like you see, a lot of times on our side of the country, it's more of like, there are the microbursts and, we don't see a lot of weather events that are going to be historic like this is.
Right.
You see the wildfires and everybody rushes to help.
Right.
And I remember during those wildfires, there was a guy in our organization, like a dry clean owner, and he was like, I survived the fire. It's great. I'm happy for that. He was like, but 90% of my customers are gone. They literally don't have anything. They don't
have anything to clean.
Yeah,
all their clothes got burned up in the fire.
Their house is gone.
Right.
So there is no hope for that. I mean, with this, we got a maybe 10, 20-day window where it's going to be bad. But if you look at the front of my store, there's a walkway this big to get from one side to the other, and it's not a good situation for small businesses.
We literally have to weather this storm. But the problem is there's some businesses, like your business, the chances are your business is suspended, right?
Yeah, correct.
People are still wearing their clothes.
Right.
They just aren't coming out, right?
Where restaurant businesses,
it's just not going to happen.
Yeah,
because people are just not coming out.
Yeah, there's not going to be a huge influx on the third day.
They're not going to make up the time.
Right.
My business is on hold because people still have to get their taxes done. So they may not be coming out this week, but it's going to come because April 15th is going to be here, whether that's delayed a week or not.
Yeah, I mean, on the retail end of it, it's gone. You've lost it. And it's a shame because when these storms hit, normally people do start to self-serve more, like I can't tell you last time I made a pot of soup, but on Sunday we knew what we were in for,
Cooking at home.
Yeah, I cooked at home and I made a restaurant-worthy sausage tortellini soup.
There you go.
And, I would make it again because it was easy. Yeah. And, it just changes the way you look at things when things like this happen.
Yeah. I have a friend in the car business and he went to work Monday and Tuesday and I talked to him. He's like, not a single person walked into the car dealership Monday or Tuesday. And of course they didn't. Who the hell's going in and buying a car with the weather like this?
We film this on Wednesday nights. We are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, obviously Monday we're closed in Aspinwall. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, not a single person came in the store.
Right.
And it's hard. I mean, I get it. I personally get it. You got to be there, right? My wife gets it. But it's hard to think about putting an employee there.
Right. Because then you're paying somebody how much dollars an hour.
And what are they doing? Are they leaving? Are they staying? Unless you have them on a Wi-Fi clock in or something,
Right.
So we're a business podcast and we're talking about this because our listeners are business owners. You know, there are certain businesses that make a ton of money in this circumstance.
Yeah. I mean, and I have clients that are
booming.
I have clients that do snow removal, and this is huge for them. I mean, this is...
Yeah, they haven't had this in years.
Right.
The ones that survived all the 15-year downturn are really, you know, sowing their oats this week.
And I've worked with clients, landscaping businesses that anticipated big snow events in prior years and nearly lost their businesses
because it didn't show,
because it never came.
Right. And they have salt supply and
right.
You know, bought an extra truck.
And not even all salt, because, you know, salt, if you're, you know, you can store it, but it's the equipment and the, you know, because a lot of times you bury yourself in that, in personnel and all that kind of stuff.
Machinery to leave on lots and
right. I mean, that kind of stuff can bury you.
Right.
Paying interest payments on equipment that's just sitting and depreciating, and, you know, that kind of stuff can bury a company.
Yeah. This might not be the right word for it, but I feel like it's an oxymoron, because you can drive past a Walgreens that has hired a subcontractor to do the snow removal, or a bank, and they hired someone to do the snow. And these lots are clear from curb to curb, walkways. And then you can look at government roads in townships with main streets, and they look like shit, like a bomb went off.
100%.
And I will give them the leniency of a 24-hour window. But when these same governments put in stipulations that you have 24 hours to clean off your sidewalk or you could be fined, well, what's good for the goose is good for the fucking gander.
Yeah. Shit. Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So the plows being broke down in the city of Pittsburgh, bad. There was a guy he had a business on North Craig Street in Oakland. They have about 8 parking spots for his business on the street, and not one of them's open yet. You know, he said it. He was like, this is like a nightmare. He was like, this feels like COVID all over again. And, you know, he has 8 employees. He said he has 4 on, 4 off, like every other day. And, you know, to get 8 good employees is hard now. Now you start laying people off. Now that's in the back of their head. They're like, I could go work. You know who's open? Sheets is open. You know,
because they paid a contractor to come clear the lot.
Right. And if you're reliant on your local government, you're fucked. Yep. You know, you're at the mercy of them. And I know it's not the guy that works at the office at the borough building. It's not his fault. And it's not the plow truck driver's fault. It's the whole system.
And honestly, it's not necessarily even Corey O'Connor's fault, because he's been there for 13 days. He came in to equipment and trucks that were probably outside their service date, that hadn't been replaced, hadn't been serviced because of...
Yeah, I saw a stat where it said, like, you know, 50% of the trucks have over 70,000 miles. But we're not talking about like F-150s. These trucks are meant to go 300,000-400,000 miles.
Yeah, the problem is, though, here's my question, and maybe I don't know, because I've never worked for the city and I don't know what kind of miles that these guys are putting on these trucks, but like a lot of times in my experience working for municipal governments, most of the time municipal vehicles get more hours than they get miles. Right? So if you got 70,000 miles in those trucks.
Yeah, good call. It could be a lot of hours.
That's a lot of fucking hours.
But the problem is a lot of those hours are just guys sitting in them fucking cranking the air conditioner and listening to DV.
100%. But that's what I mean. Like, if it's got 70,000 miles, that truck's been around a while.
Right. Yeah, because they're not putting a ton of miles on. They're not driving them to the airport and back and forth and shit like that.
Right. I mean, if it's just driving around the city, 70,000 miles, that truck's been...
Yeah, could be 20 years old.
I mean... And if it's not being maintained properly, if it's being Mickey Mouse together all the time.
Yeah, I just don't understand at what point the government's just going to skid off, like a grid off the city of Pittsburgh and be like, all right, you know, Jim Davis landscaping, you have this, you know, and just outsource it all.
And let's just face facts here, okay? The city of Pittsburgh is charging a 3% earned income tax.
Right.
The city of Pittsburgh is charging out the ass for taxes. There's no shortage of tax revenue in the city of Pittsburgh.
There's a casino.
And perhaps, let's just throw this out there, instead of spending all the money to convert main thoroughfares into bike lanes, they'd spend some money on maintaining their trucks. Or maybe a third of the trucks that they had wouldn't have broken down during the biggest weather event we had in 15 years, maybe they would have been able to survive it.
Yeah, I feel like, there's 3 major sports venues in that town. There's a casino.
Right.
Yeah, there's a ton of revenue coming
Where is
in.
all the revenue going? Maybe they should be doing a better job maintaining their vehicles instead of converting main thoroughfares into bike lanes.
I mean, I guess the analogy would be is like, I'd really love to have a bigger garage, in my house. We can't afford it right now. But I don't not buy new vehicles to get back and forth to work and put the garage on. And that's what the city's done. They've just like kicked the can. And when you don't have snow, you look at it historically, you're like, oh, we only had 21 inches of snow all year. So we don't need to budget all that money. We're going to take that money and put it towards bike lanes, or towards this and towards that. It's really
bike lanes that nobody fucking uses.
They sure as fuck ain't using them right now.
Right. I mean, Penn Avenue in the Strip is all fucking bike lane now.
Yeah. I've been to a couple other major cities and I don't recall seeing bike lanes like that.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. And where do they recoup the money on bikes? There's no tax on riding your bicycle. So there's no revenue coming in because of it.
Anyway.
So Peduto, man, he started that initiative. And then, the next administration didn't do anything. And like I said, this isn't to bash Corey O'Connor. He's only been there for a few, he's just got there. The city of Pittsburgh has been a major suck on Allegheny County for my whole life. Allegheny County has footed the bill for that city my whole life.
Right. Which everybody outside of the city of Pittsburgh has to foot.
We pay for.
Right.
And we don't have a say in who the mayor is down there.
Right.
And, there's no difference between the city of Pittsburgh electing Corey O'Connor as the mayor as Mike McCarthy being the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's from here. His dad was a mayor. It's the same shit. It's a loyalty bone that we have in this part of the country. And I appreciate it. I'm loyal to people to my fault. But like when you're making decisions on major cities, which we had a discussion on here, that Pittsburgh is not a major city anymore.
No, it's barely it's losing its status.
Yeah, it's the population, and this isn't going to help.
No.
Shit like this is not going to help. And I will say there is transparency with the current administration's program of how they're trying to fix this. But, you can tell me what you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Restaurants downtown have to be.
They're getting killed.
Yeah.
I know firsthand, I know some people that own them and they're getting killed.
Yeah, and this Saturday, it's not like we said, it's not going to be 41 degrees this Saturday.
No, and that's the biggest problem with this snowstorm. It's not even necessarily the quantity of snow that we got.
Yeah, this could have been 8 inches and it's the weather behind it.
It's the weather behind it. The quantity that we got was bad, but in even this year when we got a lot, when we got, 5, 6, 7, 8 inches, we would get, within a week, we'd have a 40-degree day, and it would be gone.
Right. At least, the curb lanes and everything would be melted down. And,
right.
Yeah.
And we'd be able to get rid of it. Before this snowstorm, I hadn't touched my snow shovel all year because I'd be like, I'd look at the weather forecast. I'm like, it snowed today, but by Wednesday, it's going to be 40 degrees. I'm not even going to bother. It's going to be raining and 40 degrees on Wednesday.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on like that. Like, so our front door in Aspinwall, because the ground froze and is kind of sticking, and I was like, it'll be all right. Well, now it's really sticking. So I had to take a grinder today and I ground the cement down because I was like, it's not getting any better anytime soon. There's no dealing with this shit, and they suspend garbage pickup and it's a real fucking thing. And I don't want to sound like we're not tough. I was just standing in the snow, changing propane out for a building that we have, but it's like your brain is on sensory overload, making all these decisions, not just like normal day, you send the vehicle out. Now you're looking at the routes well, do we send them up this hill? Because this hill's could be bad. North side, we had to call it. So we talk about lost revenue. Them unable to clean the north side streets to be passable 2 days after a storm. I then had to pull a whole route out of my day because they weren't able to do their job. So, and the north side's a pretty big route for us.
It's not a question of whether we can handle it and toughness. I can handle sub-zero temperatures. Yeah, it sucks. I don't like being cold.
Right.
And especially being I'll tell you what, being down a bunch of weight sucks, by the way. When I had that extra weight on there, I had that layer of warmth. It's a whole lot different now. It is definitely different. I used to be just like go out in a hoodie kind of guy. Now I'm like, I go outside and I'm like, fuck, is it cold? But I can handle it, as far as dealing with it. It just, everything has to change now.
Yeah, when the cold plunge is frozen solid,
it's
cold.
But what, I get home from work and I go and I change and I got my slippers on and Amber's like, oh, the garbage needs taken out. And I'm like, listen, that garbage is going out onto the porch because I'm not going off the porch again until I'm back dressed for off the porch again. It'll go back. I'll do the deal with that in the morning when I'm back on boots and back out ready for that weather. Yeah. It just changes everything again.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's shit that you just put on the back burner this time of year. And when you're a business owner, there's shit you can't put on the back burner.
Right.
So Saturday, I spent all day prepping, pretty much for Sunday, knowing it was coming. Sunday, I spent the day, intermittently shoveling my driveway, but in the back of your mind, you're thinking, okay, what's going on in Aspinall? Are the pipes frozen? You leave the cabin doors open, you got the heat on, but is the heat working? Is power going to go out? Chiller at the cleaners, is it for, there was so much in my brain. And then, I never would have thought Monday we would have to call it. I thought, it'd be over by Monday because I haven't experienced that in business. Like the last time it snowed like this, I worked for somebody.
Right.
So then you're calling people and saying, hey, don't come in because you just can't. And then Monday goes into Tuesday and now we're into Wednesday. And
right.
If you, like I said, I use the Apple weather forecast for most of my information just because it gives you a quick snapshot. And that was another takeaway I took from this storm is the weatherman can be wrong and then we'll treat him like he's right. But when he's right, he gets 10 wrongs. And they fucking nailed this motherfucker.
They did.
So next time they say it's going to snow 4 inches, everybody's going to be going through this panic mode because they're right. And then it probably won't snow. So it's interesting. A lot of my customers are very understanding. Unfortunately, a lot of my customers need their shit. They got to keep going. They're in positions where they're telling people not to come to work. You know what I mean? So they need to be there. So it's, and one last dig at Corey O'Connor because I don't know enough about him to really not like him. I've always had a good I've interacted with him a couple of times. Really nice guy. But when the mayor of a city is going to go on the news in a fucking hoodie, he's killing my business because he's making, I had this theory that the dry cleaning business was impacted by 9/11 because Bush thought it was okay to show up in blue jeans and a jumper jacket and throw out the first pitch of the Yankees game. And then 4 months later, Tiger Woods showed up at Augusta in a turtleneck with no collar. And that's when the world kind of just was like, well, these are the two biggest people in the world doing whatever the fuck they want. I'm going to do whatever I want. And bankers now wear polo shirts to the bank. When the mayor's going to address the city of Pittsburgh.
I was a little surprised whenever he was doing
just because it says Steelers on it doesn't mean it's okay.
Yeah.
You got guys in this world like Belichick that wore the hoodie, they dumbed down the coaching dress code. And there's certain positions that, I guess he wanted to feel like he was one of the guys. And maybe he took some heat for Saturday showing up at a mechanic's garage with Miss February 1984 still on the calendar on the wall. And he was in a suit and tie. Maybe he took some shit from that. But these people have advisors.
Mm-hmm.
If they're listening, maybe just put them in a nice flannel.
Yeah.
It's dumbing down the dress code again. There's some shit that I've seen on the internet about this weather and this time of year where you could take all your cashmere sweaters and lay them in your yard and cover them with snow and then shake them off and hang them up and they're considered clean. And I'm like, are we fucking what are people doing here? They call it Canadian washing your clothes, right?
Really?
So But like, would you eat the snow nowadays?
No.
No. So like, what the fuck are you, like, who knows what's in that snow? Like.
Thank you for listening. And now a brief word from our sponsor. You've got a full plate. Kids, meetings, workouts, side hustles. There's better things to do than laundry. Introducing Wash, laundry reimagined for the modern world. Schedule your pickup in seconds via the convenient web app. Wash picks up your clothes, cleans with care, and brings them back fresh and ready to wear. But it's more than garments. From bedding and table linens to shoes, hats, purses, and more. Wash handles all your life's fabric, leaving you more time to do you. Visit pickupwashdeliver.com and see how convenient it can be to do the wash. And now, back to the show.
There's that shit.
I saw a video on TikTok. Somebody was like, the snow's, it's not real, it's plastic. Somebody took a snowball and then took it in a house and lit it on fire, and it was black. And it was like, look, it's like plastic. And it was weird. I don't know. It was like...
Department of Homeland just dumped 17 inches on us. If I can take an ice to a whole new level here.
Yeah. I was like, oh my God, you people. I don't know what you're talking about.
And we talk about these emergency loans for businesses. Yeah. And, you know, I brought up ICE jokingly there because that's a hot button topic that I really don't care to dive into too much.
Yeah, I've been ignoring it, so we're not even going to go in there.
But like that, these people in Minneapolis that own these businesses, like this guy owns a business, has nothing to do, like a donut shop. However you feel about this gentleman being murdered, you know, in the streets on every news channel.
Yeah.
The poor guy that owns that donut shop better get his EIDL loan because...
Yeah, he doesn't have nothing to do with it.
Right, and that's the shit that you, as a business owner, people are like, oh, you got it great, you own your own business. Like, dude, you have no fucking clue.
You're just people don't realize how much businesses, small businesses, are impacted by every little thing, whether it's a weather event, whether it's a news event, whether it's a protest, whether it's it doesn't matter. All this little shit that everybody gets all wound up about that has nothing to do with us. Right. It affects us.
Right. You start second guessing what you're putting on the internet.
Yeah.
You start scouring your personal page because you can't afford God forbid, you know,
you actually say the wrong thing.
Yeah. So this happens. We release this episode. You know, now we're getting boycotted because I said something bad about the mayor wearing a hoodie. Now I'm into April.
Yeah, that kind of stuff I don't give a shit about. Yeah. I mean, you're going to cancel me. I'm not worried about getting canceled.
No, I'm just saying they pick at your business.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
People don't realize how much small businesses get impacted by every little stupid little thing. It has nothing to do with it.
And you're seeing protests locally, you know, and if they're protesting on Murray, you know, in Squirrel Hill,
nobody's going
there. So guess what? They lost another day.
Yeah.
And like a lot of those are restaurants, and there's no rebound. There's no ripple effect.
And they have nothing to do with that protest, with what you're protesting for or against.
Right.
And it just happens to be that you just picked that street corner to protest in front of, and they were the unlucky people that happened to be the business owner that just rented that spot or owned that building. And guess what? They have zero revenue that day because you just happened to pick it in front of that building.
Because they had one in East Liberty inside Target because it was too cold outside to protest.
Yeah.
And Target allowed it because Target can sustain that. And that's fine.
Target can handle that. But the little mom and pop restaurant that you just happened to pick it in front of, they can't.
Yeah, and
And not only can that business owner not sustain it, but how about all the employees that will get no revenue? I mean, that they're there that day or may have to go home that day and not get any income, or maybe they're servers and they're not going to get any tips that day.
I think you nailed it there. Like one of my things is like, I've always told my kids at a young age, like when your shop was in Oakmont, it's payday, pay your employees. Okay. Well, when this shit happens, it's payday, but you can't pay your employees because there's no money and they didn't work. It's not like I'm a charity, you know what I mean? It's not like they're, you know, obviously you have salary employees.
You have to understand the ripple effect. I mean, I'm the business owner and there's no bleeding heart for the business owner. And I get that, right? Everybody just wants to assume the business owner's rich, whatever. Okay. But at the end of the day, you can think what you want about the business owner, but at the end of the day, it's not the business owner you're taking it out on. It's the employees of the business owner, because if you take out of the business owner's pocket, it's only so long before you're taking out of the employee's pockets
100%.
because the business owner is just going to have no choice but to shut it down.
Well, yeah, and I've done that, and that there was a program in place for that too that's never come to roost. But I did that all through COVID. I paid my people. I paid them a 40-hour work week when we were working 12 hours.
Right.
Because of that. Because my family's important, but so are theirs. They're my family. It's your work family. But now you can't do it again.
No, especially when those programs. Thankfully, those programs existed during COVID, which helped. The likelihood of these local governments actually going through the process to get us any of that disaster relief now, right? I don't see it happening. I mean, I sent out that email days ago, and I've not even gotten a response back. And I'll put it out there. I sent it to McCormick's office. I sent it to Joe McAndrew's office. I sent it to Jay Costa's office. I sent it to Nick Fatulis' office, and I posted it all over Facebook. Right. And I've not gotten a response from any of them.
Yeah, and like I know like we were grateful for a lot of the programs, but they also have programs that they never came true to either.
Because
we talk about that
employee retention credit.
Yeah.
I have a lot of clients that never got a dime out of it.
And I know people that are in a lot better spot than I am that got it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I could really use that money now.
And I know people that did get some of the programs that I know for a fact, I didn't know when I helped them get it. I helped them get it legitimately, but I know for a fact that after they got it, they misused it and then shut their businesses down. And I know that they should be dealing with the consequences.
And that's what happened to the programs. They paid out too much too fast. Mm-hmm. And then the legitimate business owners that are entitled to that money aren't getting it.
There's nothing I can do. I mean, no. I did what I
there's no one to even call.
But
there's no program that
I wish I wouldn't have helped them. I didn't, and I regret it, but I know for a fact that they misused that money, and it's a shame. But
yeah, I mean, we were looking 2 years ago, maybe 2.5, almost 3 years ago now. We were looking at a business, a little manufacturing business. It was for sale, and the holdup on the sale of the company was they were entitled to like $163,000 worth of ERC money. And they didn't want to sell. They wanted to continue operating because they knew they were going to have this big nut coming in. And it never came. And they cease and desist. They don't even operate, But they were entitled to that money. They weren't cheating the system. They weren't fraudulent in what they did.
No, they probably, but they never got it?
Never got it. They couldn't sustain it anymore. And they didn't want to sell it. I understand where they were coming from because that money wasn't like down the road money spent. It was money you already spent that you were entitled to.
Yeah.
You kept employees on during the hardest time. You kept them off unemployment. And, and that's a hindsight of that program too, is like that caused some animosity in companies, right? Because you were like doing them a favor because they were getting their standard paycheck. Well, then everybody was getting 600 plus on unemployment. Mm-hmm. So people that were making, $400 a week that you're paying to keep them working, once that program kicked in, they could make 80%, so they're making 160 plus 600. They're making 720 and you didn't do anybody any favors. Right. Now you're the fucking bad guy. So yeah, that ERC money is something that isn't really talked about in the news.
No.
A lot of bills and budgets have been passed since
But a lot of companies got cheated out of it.
Yeah. And it's a pipe dream at this point, and, like you said, nobody feels bad for the owner because everybody knows that money goes into the owner's pocket. Mm-hmm. It's not a stipend to your employees. It's a thank you to the business owners for keeping them off unemployment. And it's kind of a fucked program. So, but I know people that have gotten it and I know they're in really good shape. They would have been in good shape without it or with it, but you come up into times like this when we're talking about businesses closing, like how many of these businesses are like, all right, look, I don't want to close, but I can't do this. And if they predict another snowstorm, because it's only fucking January. I mean, this will come out the beginning of February. We got February and March to get through. Mm-hmm. We piggyback.
Well, I just heard that we're expecting, this is going to drop next week, so we'll know by the time this drops, but we're supposed to, they're calling for a nor'eastern snowstorm for this weekend.
Yeah.
We may get another 6 to 8 inches.
It might not hit us in Pittsburgh because of it's not, I guess they're saying it doesn't have enough to get through the Laurels, but it's still going to hit that eastern pocket that just got hit. So like, yeah, maybe not locally, maybe not in Pittsburgh businesses, but like, down a little bit southeast of here, these businesses are in the same problem everybody's having around here. So, and the people, the haters out there will say, well, you should budget for it. Well, how the fuck do you budget for it?
You can't budget for 15 inches of snow and 2 weeks of subzero temperatures.
Right. And you can't, and you kind of do, you kind of do kind of get ready for the winter months. January, we know is slow, and you get through it. Every year you get through January and you take it on chin in February and you roll back in March. But this sets you back. You might not be straight till May, June, and then the summer slowdown happens. It's just it's a nightmare. And I guess part of it too is the inflation, the cost of everything's up. So
yeah, it's also, you can budget for it all you want, but we're also dealing with a really shitty time as business owners right now, because small business owners, we've said it numerous times, we're all getting squeezed right now.
Yeah.
Costs of everything are through the roof. And it's a really hard time as a small business owner to survive as it is.
Right. And it's not just small business either, because I think the bigger the business, the longer they can hang. But Amazon's laying off 16,000 employees. Home Depot is laying off a bunch of employees. They're bringing their corporate staff back into the office 5 days a week. It's starting to hit everywhere, and the market might be good, but the economics of it is starting to look bad. So yeah, you tighten down. I'm glad what I did. I don't have as many employees. If I was still in the same circumstance on McKnight Road, I might be days before I close down. Or I do it all myself. And that's not a life I want to live. I just go fucking work for somebody. You can only move the money so much to make it make sense before you're like, dude, I could just fold this whole fucking thing and go work for someone. And, because you built yourself into a reasonable asset at this point in life, but that doesn't work. You know what I mean? To me, that's not what America's built on. Small businesses run this fucking country.
100%.
And, if enough of them close, then they'll listen. But unfortunately, that's when they do listen. It's like when people were bailing on COVID and they were just flipping the close sign and not opening for a week or two.
Right.
This SBA was like, what do we got to do to get these businesses open?
Right.
So, yeah, and it doesn't need to take a significant, roof collapse to close a business right now.
No, and my point for this whole disaster thing is that it doesn't necessarily a business doesn't need to be closed to be in trouble right now.
Right.
In fact, being open is the problem, because the employees being there and being punched in is the problem.
Right.
Because there's no customers. Being closed would almost be better.
Absolutely.
Because if you're closed, power's out, you have disruption insurance.
Right.
At least the power's out and you can file an insurance claim. Right now, if your power's on, you've got no insurance to cover this. You're just slow.
Yeah.
And right now, that's just part of the risk of having a business in Pittsburgh. You have a snowstorm and you're slow because there's snow on the ground. That's just part of being a Pittsburgh business, and sorry, it sucks for you.
Right.
But if the power was out for 6 days because it's subzero temperatures and you're closed because the power's out, you have business disruption insurance. Right. But right now, you're just slow.
Yeah, utilities are all-time high too. So
right.
We went to 410s, one, because it works, and I think it's a nice concept for my employees. But we also go there because we shut the plant down for a day, save money on utilities, But when it's cold like this, you run utilities. I have a chiller right now. It's running 24/7 until it goes above 30.
Yeah. This building runs on propane. I'm sure we're burning that shit like crazy.
Propane, electric heat. You got the baseboard heat's running, and electric is through the roof. It's you go from having a $500 electric or gas bill. So we have natural gas at our plant. So we hover right between $480 and $580, somewhere in there usually. We were $1,100 last month. It's
going to be through the roof this month.
Yeah, we're going to be almost close to $2,000 this month.
Yeah.
Because I go down and run the boiler to keep things from freezing, because when they freeze, they're broke. And when they're broke, they're fucked.
Yeah.
You know, so you spend an extra $500 this month to keep that, you know, preventative maintenance, you know, but like the customer doesn't see that. Yeah. I got equipment in a warehouse right now. I know that's like, I'm like so worried about, but there's nothing I can, like, what am I going to do? Can't afford to heat a 2,000 square foot fucking open span building to, you know what I mean? It's just crazy. And it's the ebbs and flows too, because we'll film an episode in May and we'll be like, the business is fucking booming. Like, but that's life, man, you know? And I wouldn't trade it for the world, dude, you know? But whenever I talk to and I have family, I won't say names, but, oh, it's cold here. You know?
Oh, I know. I got my buddies down in Florida, and he sent me a text. He said, we're on a winter weather advisory, and he sent me a screenshot of his weather app. It was 55. All I did was send him the middle finger emoji, and I sent him a screenshot of ours. It was -1.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, I love it's cold here. Oh, I had to clean off my car. I had to shovel snow. And I'm like, dude, I shoveled snow to go shovel snow. Yeah. Like, I cleaned off cars to go clean off more cars and shovel more parking lots.
Yeah.
Like, and I can count on one hand how many times in my life I have been physically and mentally depleted to the point where I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And this snowstorm was
Dude,
it.
I got that call from you to see if you had needed, if I had anybody to help you plow. And I was like, he's burned out.
Dude,
Joe doesn't ask for help when it comes to physical labor. What's he need?
I shoveled half a path around the front door. I shoveled 3 lanes out to the curb, and I thought at least the girls could pull into the snow and then get out and they'd have a path. Well, when I got to the curb, it was like 36 inches of plowed upon snow frozen. And I was like, I know what I need. I need to go get a pickaxe. I was like, I'll just pickaxe it. And then I'm like, are you fucking out of your mind? I sat in a chair and looked out the front window of the cleaners like, not today, dude. Not today. Because they say after 40, dude, you can have a heart attack shoveling snow. It's like certain movement, the weather. I'm like, dude, I ain't trying to fucking.
My problem was my fingers, dude. My fingers were like, oh man, they hurt.
Dude, I smashed this thumb a couple years ago. And when I get cold, it gets cold first. It's like Mr. Deed's foot, you know? Like, I'm like, dude, it's fuck. So I got to go. And you worry about shit like that. You don't want to be the idiot that's at St. Margaret's because he got frostbite on his finger fucking dips. Yeah. I'm in here, you call me fucking 10 and a half.
10 and a half. 9 and a half.
Yeah, it's fun though. I mean, it's never, as a business owner, I would say this, it's never as bad as you think it is, and it's never as good as you think it is.
Yeah.
You know, and we're right in that spot where like, you know, I'm just so sick of like moving money around and like figuring it out. Like,
I'll tell you one thing I was impressed with. I got to try out 4 low on this new truck, on the ZR2.
Oh, you got all the way down to low.
Well, I was plowed in.
Yeah.
And it probably wasn't necessary.
Creeper
I probably
gear,
could have done it in 4 high.
Yeah.
But I was plowed in. The snow was up past the door. So I just shoveled enough to get in the truck. Because I'm like, I'm not digging this shit out. Like,
yeah,
a ZR2. Like, kidding me?
This is what I got it for. I live in Pittsburgh.
So I actually like, you know, I'm doing all this content and stuff online. So I actually like made a video of like all around the truck and then like getting in the truck and then like putting it in 4 low. And so I put it in 4 low, backed up, put it in drive, and it pulled right out. Like no hesitation, nothing, just barreled right through it all. No issues at all.
Dude,
Truck's a beast.
That was part of my concept. I went down with the truck and I figured I'll make these paths and then I'll take the truck and drive it in and out, you know, to pack it down. Dude, well, the snow was so high in the entry, it was scraping the bottom of my truck. I'm like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, Cheswick did me no favors down there. They fucking plowed me in.
Yeah, that truck's a beast. It hasn't had an issue with any of this at all.
I quite wonder what my customers that I've gone to in the last couple of days in my 2014 F-150 think.
Yeah.
When I'm picking up and dropping off dry cleaning. But like, hey.
And you're rusted out.
Yeah, I'm like, you want it.
F-150.
Like, I just picked the cheapest one in the fleet. Like, if we're going to wreck one, that's the one to wreck. Yeah, it's been a week and it's not looking any better in the near future.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I posted I posted a video today that I was like mopping because like that's the other thing, like people like I'm mopping the floor fucking.
Oh, I know. I got my
every day.
Everything's just salt, and slush, and everything.
So my video today was like, can someone come drop off clothes? Because I can only mop the floor like one more time before I lose my fucking mind. Like it is a mental game right now. And years past, you know, I kind of went home from work, and home was home and work was work. And that took me a long time to get to that point. But with us having this store, you know, Sarah's starting to experience it too, where she was down there. We had the kids did virtual day yesterday at the store, and she was there 10 to 5 all day, and no one came in. And I'm willing to like take that lump, I think, a little bit, you know, easier than she was like, you know, she gets it, but you know, you start wondering, what the fuck am I doing it for?
Yeah.
You know? Because now there's zero money coming in. I just spent all day, you know, for $0. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, do 2 years of a fucking podcast and then come talk to me.
Sometimes we just do shit for nothing.
Yeah, sometimes it's just to get it off our chest.
Yeah.
You know, we'll all be in the insane asylum one day talking about the snowstorm of 2025 or 26 and COVID. And be like, you know, if I had $1 for every day I didn't make $1, I'd have $100.
Just swaying back and forth, talking about
it'll be our whole crew from 100 episode will be there. If I had a dime for every day I didn't make $1, I would retire, right?
Yeah.
So, but it's, you know, we did this as business owners to talk like business owners. We're not going to bullshit it. You know, there's no scam. I thought about buying all the milk at Giant Eagle, because it's cold enough, and just fucking lining up the store and asking for milk, eggs, and bread.
Yeah.
So, and that goes back to a local restaurateur when the COVID hit, was an inspiration of mine.
Yeah.
You know, I sold flowers and he sold produce, right? But those are the things that business owners do. Like
find a way.
Like sand through the hourglass. These are the days of our lives.
You find a way.
Yeah. So we're, right now we're going through a lot of old accounts receivables that kind of got pushed back.
Find a way.
Yeah. And, you know,
collect that money.
Yeah. You make egg salad. You eat egg salad. You know, I made soup, and boy, was that soup good, and I'll make it again. And, you know, the kids, I feel bad for the kids. They haven't been to school. Fuck. I mean, I ask my kids every day, and this is not a weather related thing. I always ask them, what'd you learn today? And they haven't learned shit. But dad shovels a lot of snow, and their parents work. Got to go to work. They know that. But the lessons on virtual aren't there to like teach them.
No, it's getting busy.
It's like to maintain them, you know. And it's a sad. I mean, Monday was a full blown snow day.
You had a full blown snow day on
Monday?
Monday?
No virtual day Monday, but we've had all virtual since.
We've had virtual Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday is a 2-hour delay as of right now, but I'm waiting for the call to make it a virtual day.
Yeah, our kids are virtual Thursday, Friday. They've already called it. And I think that, yeah, I get it. I said it before. It's not the school's job to raise our kids, but it is their job to watch them when they say they're going to watch them. So let that be noted, because the babysitter is now called off for a fucking week.
And I saw it on Facebook. They posted on Facebook that tomorrow's a 2-hour or Thursday's a 2-hour delay. But they didn't make the call yet, like the robocall.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that they're waiting to make the robocall to decide whether or not they're going to pull an audible and make it a virtual day.
So just in my experience of dealing with automated text systems, right? I pay 5 cents a text. Like when I send an auto text to my customers for Twilio. And I'm sure that all these softwares are using the largest automated text message system. So I was thinking about it today. I'm like, they text me, they text my wife, they text us like all this. I'm like, dude, that has to cost the district thousands of dollars to cancel fucking school. I'm like, give me fucking Larry Richard and Priest Paul from down the street. Ringgold High School, closed. Riverview High School, open.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, we were always
watching the news and waiting for the R's.
KDK radio.
And then he missed it. God damn it, I missed it. I gotta watch it all again.
Yeah. I would listen to the radio in my room because KDK radio would just have it nonstop.
Yeah.
And like, if they would stop at Stowe Rocks, like my grandma would be like, get ready for school. I'd be like, I can't. They're in the S's, dude. I ain't leaving this radio right now. Yeah, now they just blast out text. It's different, dude. And I don't want to be I don't want to be the old guy, but I was really the old guy today. We were talking about I have a Nomax hood, which firemen used to wear like under their helmets, and I wear it when the weather's really bad and cold. So I had it on my delivery driver. He's 23 years old, and I said something like upon the lines of, "This thing's older than you," you know. And not only did I say it like an old man, I meant it because it is. I've had it since I was 10. 31 years old, bro. Like, and it was probably 5 years old when I got it. So I'm like, I have things that, like, I got underwear as old as you, son, you know? So, yeah, you hope that your employees understand. You know, you hope that customers understand.
I think the customers, they have to understand. I mean, it's a wild time.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious that Waste Management doesn't show up, major company. The post office didn't show up.
Dude, I haven't had mail in 3 days.
I had to go to the mailbox or the post office today because I'm waiting on. I had a significant check to deposit that I was waiting on, and it was in my portal that I could see, and it was supposed to be delivered Saturday. It wasn't there. It's normally a day behind in Cheswick. So Monday, I knew I wasn't getting it. It wasn't there Tuesday. This morning, I was like, I need to go. It's payroll week. Like, I need to go get that check. And I walked in, and the lady, like, I was ready to like put up a fight for that check, and she was like, "What's the address?" And she just walked in the back and was like, "Here you go." Like, they must not be delivering mail yet.
No, they're not. I haven't gotten mail in 3 days.
Yeah. And then I'm sending messages to my customers like, "We'll come Sunday. We'll come Saturday. Like, whatever we got to do." I'm driving my truck around. I should have just said, fuck it. Problem is Waste Management's got their bills paid next month.
And I'm sure people are mailing their tax stuff, and I'm going to end up getting bombarded with packages.
You just hope it gets here.
It'll get here eventually.
They didn't just put it in that. It's fucked bin in the back, and then you get it on the 14th of April. Like,
nah, it's early enough. We'll catch up.
Yeah, that's it. That's what Pittsburgh does, man. Catch up.
We get it done. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We got a good system this year. We'll get it done.
Yeah, actually, we had a guest scheduled for tonight that got snowed in.
She got snowed in, trapped.
So we'll reschedule.
Yeah, and we've got guests scheduled for the next 2 weeks, but, you know, we had one scheduled for tonight, so let's not.
Yeah, and it's still the good old nor'easter might come.
Yeah, who the fuck knows, dude? It's crazy.
Fuck it. Shovel snow.
Go shovel some snow. Let's try to keep these businesses. Listen, if go out and support local business.
Yeah.
I know it's snowing. Just go. Go to the restaurants. Go spend some money. Don't be afraid of the snow. Go support local business because they're struggling right now.
That was a real kick in the dick today. I sat, excuse my terminology. You can tell that my give a damn's kind of busted this week.
Yeah.
So I sat 10 to 5 today. It was my shift in the Aspenwall store. 0 people. I had to park in what they have is the merchant lot, right? Across Freeport Road. So you got to cross Freeport Road that's plowed in both sides. So you're zigzagging, human frogger, to get to the intersection, to get to your, I'm doing this. And I wanted to make sure like traffic was good. And this girl in her Honda CRV, probably our age, cruising, Giant Eagle dry cleaning bag hanging in the fucking front of her car, big old wash and fold bag from Giant. I'm like, I just wanted to jump in front of her car. Like, dude, you think Giant Eagle didn't make enough money on fucking Sunday? Like, you're killing me. So yeah, support the small businesses.
Support small businesses. They're struggling through this storm. Go spend some money at small business right now because they need it.
Right.
That's how we're going to end the podcast.
Buy a gift card.
Support small business.
Yeah, and if you don't need the service, buy a gift card.
Go buy a gift card.
Make an investment in your main street.
Go find a not fucking Olive Garden, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Go to a mom and pop, local owned restaurant. Go support small business.
Yeah, Sam Walton will be all right.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, I love you, bud.
Love you, bud.
Thank you for listening to Between Two Bridges, a business-to-business podcast. Find and follow us on your preferred podcast streaming platform. Like and subscribe, and leave us a rating and review. You can join us socially on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. You can email the show at info@betweentwobridgespodcast.com. Until next time, make it till you rake it.
It's cold.
It is fucking cold.